Today we're going to go over how I found out I had Sibo, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it's not something that's easily diagnosed. It took me over a year to figure out what the problem was, and that is just because I kept going and I kept advocating for myself because I knew that something was wrong and I couldn't figure it out, but more testing could, right? So in 2022 is when it all started. I was on carbamazole for my thyroid because my thyroid is a whole different story, but I was like, I need to get put on something, and that is what I got put onto. So I got put on carbamazole, and I was on that daily until December because I thought that was the issue. I thought the carbamazole was causing me to get sick, and when I traveled, it was so much worse. I felt so sick constantly, and I didn't know what was wrong because it only happened to start then. Like, I was like, it's got to be the medicine. The medicine's the issue. Let's get rid of the medicine. So I was on that for 3 months, I think, and then I was like, nah, we're getting out of here. So I literally, it was like end of the year, and I was like, I can't get into a doctor. So I weaned myself off the carbamazole because I thought that was the issue. Turns out it may have been it wasn't the issue, but it might have just brought the symptoms to be more present, if that makes sense. So I don't think it was the original problem. I think it was just the eye opener to the problem that I had. Within that, I couldn't eat normal portions. Like, I was eating very minuscule portions because I couldn't hold my food down very well. I was eating very small portions and everything made me sick. It wasn't just like one specific food, it was just like everything made me sick. I had dry vomiting basically at random times. Like, it wasn't just after I ate a meal, it's like either hours after or like a few minutes after, like 10 minutes after or whatever. It was just the randomest times. Like, it wouldn't warn me, it would just happen whenever it wanted to. And that's where it got really hard because I'm like, oh yeah, I can't know when I'm going to do it. So I could go freaking grocery shopping and then I would be like, I feel like I'm going to be sick. And there was a few times where I felt like I was going to be sick and I had to grab one of those brown bags and hold that with me while I walked around the grocery store because I just couldn't handle it. It was the most bizarre thing. I got multiple pregnancy tests done because people were like, oh, you're pregnant because you keep vomiting. Well, I wasn't really vomiting, I was dry vomiting. They all came back negative. So I did go to the GP, like a urgent care GP for this one time, and then they just thought it was my medication. So, but I got told to speak to my endocrinologist because they're the ones that obviously prescribed me the carbamazole, and it can make you sick because it can affect the liver. So I was like, okay, maybe that is the issue. And so I went to the GP because I was like, the GP is going to give me some actual advice because the urgent care, they don't have any prior medical records, so they can't really do much. They can just treat what's in front of them. It's very hard if you've got underlying symptoms or whatever. So the following year, I booked myself in with the GP and she gave me opramazole, which is basically like it's like with your muscles and your stomach. It basically like relaxes your stomach from my understanding. I'll put the real definition on the screen. But that did calm my stomach down for a little bit, but it didn't actually fix the problem. I still had the issues, just not as severely. The doctor then said that I potentially have IBS, which was a common denominator with like stomach issues that are like not easy to find a problem for. So IBS, they said that to diagnose IBS, it's like a process of elimination. So they ended up giving me a medicine to trial to see if that helped me, because if it did help me, then it was IBS. If it didn't help me, it wasn't obviously IBS. Now, this is the name of it. Don't ask me to pronounce it because I'll probably butcher it. So I tried that for 2 weeks. Felt much like the opramazole. It just felt like it was soothing it a little bit, but it wasn't actually fixing the problem. So it's helping, but it wasn't fixing it. So it wasn't doing anything to help me, but we need to go further into like more diagnosis because I'm like, I still have an issue and I feel like I still have an issue. And I was losing weight because I wasn't getting any nutrition. Like, I was consuming stuff, but my body wasn't taking it in because it was either coming back out or the bacteria in there wasn't letting it. Anyway, I got referred to a gastrologist, I think that's how you pronounce it, in February. So this is on February 2023, I got referred to a gastrologist, and I didn't get to see them until May. So over the 6-month period, I lost about 6 kgs over that time period, and I was not exercising. I was not doing any specific diet to lose weight. I wasn't doing anything to lose weight. Besides the fact that my body wasn't taking in anything that I was eating properly. I was eating very small amounts of food, like I wasn't eating massive meals or anything. So when I got referred to them in May, I got a gastroscopy and biopsy of my stomach. So basically they get the camera and go down your throat while you're basically put out. It's like a surgery, but not a surgery because they don't really do anything besides the biopsy. They take biopsies of your gut to basically test those to see if there's any thing wrong. So that came back and they said it was non-ulcer dyspepsia, which is basically nothing. Like, it's like you've got symptoms, but there's nothing visible there to say you've got the issue. So obviously ruled out IBS because I believe you can find out IBS if you have it that way. He gave me Ensure Plus, which is this drink, because I was obviously losing weight, and he thought that would help me to gain some weight back, because it's basically like a nutritional supplement drink of some sort. It didn't help me, so spoiler. and in August, I went in for another consult to talk about the results, what to do next, where to go from there. And he suggested getting an upper abdominal ultrasound, because obviously he didn't find anything in his gastroscopy. And then he also suggested getting a gastric study done, or empty study done. So basically, eat food and you look at how long it takes you to digest that food. And I think 4 hours is how much time you should take. Like, over the span of 4 hours, you should have digested that food and it should be out. And if nothing of those came, if nothing came out of those and everything was fine, he said that he would trial me on you know what, I'm not going to try to pronounce these 2 different medicines, and one I believe is an antidepressant. And I was like, I'm not going on an antidepressant. What do you mean? It's not in my head. I have an actual issue. So I was like, no way. And so I was like, stuff that gastrologist, I'm going to go get a second opinion. And I took myself to a different person that is actually not a gastrologist, but they're just a normal GP, but they are kind of like a natural medicines type of vibe. So they're more of the holistic vibe rather than normal medicine. I don't know. But I've heard great things about her, and I know that she basically finds the problem. So I went to her in December of that year, so it took a whole year to even get to that point. But I went to her for a second opinion, and I was like, this is the situation. We've had these and these tests done. They were fine. What can we do to find out the problem? Because I feel like I've got an issue, and I am still losing weight, and I am, She gave me some suggestions. So she gave me a suggestion to not drink tap water. So basically go get spring water from either these 2 different locations near me. And then basically I can go on a more plant-based diet, so whole foods, and basically avoiding gluten, a healthier diet in a sense. I was on a diet to a degree because of my thyroid, but I wasn't on a specific diet. I was just foods that are high in salt, foods that have iodine or high in iodine, things like that. So I was avoiding fish at all costs because I thought that was bad because it had a heap of iodine in it, and iodine's kind of bad for your thyroid. That's what my mentality was. She said I should put iodine back into my diet because she said I'm probably low on iodine because of that, and your body actually needs iodine to function, and I was cutting it all out. So I did add iodine back into my diet. However, this is not fixing the problem. Anyway, she suggested doing a Sibo test, which is basically a breath test to basically test your gases that come out of your stomach to see kind of what levels your stomach's sitting at. I don't know the logistics. I was like, oh, okay. But the Sibo test was about $470 New Zealand dollars, so that was quite a lot for me to think to go, do I do this breath test, because will it find out the problem, and that's a lot of money to just walk out and go do a test that you don't know if it's going to actually tell you the problem. However, I was like, it's for my health. If I don't do it, I still don't know the answers to my problem, and if I do it and it finds the problem, then the problem is solved and I just fix the problem, right? So I was like, I'll do the test and see what comes back. And sure enough, that test itself found the problem all along. I mean, that gastrologist should have suggested that test. I don't know why he didn't. You can also get referred to do this test, but if I got referred, I would have to go a 3-hour drive away to do the test. So it was easier to do it at home. I could just order it and then do it at home myself, which is basically like breathing into these tubes in a period of 1 week. And you have to go on the low FODMAP diet to do the test as well, and then continue on to that diet. January 2024 is literally when I found out that I had Sibo, and the issue started in October of 2022. So it took me a long time to figure out what the issue was after doing multiple different tests, going to different doctors. Now, after I got diagnosed, I got put onto treatment, and it was a 3-phase treatment, but I can talk more on that in a different video if you want me to let you know how that goes. But I also do have a post pinned on my page, so you can go look at that for more details, because it took over a year to figure out what the issue was. And I can't even fathom what it would have been like if I just started the medication that the specialist would have put me on. I would have been getting skinnier. I would have probably lost a lot more weight, and I don't know where I would have been, because if I went back to him and gone, well, this is not working, I don't know if he would have gone to the Sibo test. And I'm so glad I went for a second opinion elsewhere. I totally wanted to go back and go, I actually have this as the issue. I'm not actually thinking it's in my head. I have proof that there is something wrong. But I didn't. I just never went back. But yeah, so that is my thing. Just advocate for yourself and go get second opinions. Do not just listen to one person, even if they are a specialist in that field. There may be a different way that a different person may think to do. And yeah. So that is my story on how I got diagnosed with Sibo.